Game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Boluo, the Swedes Team Pineapple. They go up against OFD now on our first map, Volskaya, as we have Copy Khaldor currently explaining the draft to us in Chinese. We're going to look at this too, but first of all, again, a quite short sum up where we are right now in the Gold League tournament. So we're currently down to the last 8 teams. We're playing a final group stage, a group with 8 teams, double round robin, and all of those games are best of 2s. So every single map that you take completely matters. It's all up for the rankings. Every single map counts quite a bit. And Boluo, they have a little bit shit the bed, to be honest. They already lost 2 of their matches, and one of them was against KG, one of the teams that everybody expects to be at the lower end of those standings towards the end of the group stage. And the important part here is that only the top 4 out of the group stage will advance to the step-ladder system bracket that will then determine the champion. OFD is currently on 7th place. Boluo is the team on 8th place. But Poik has already said that they actually practiced a lot more this time. The last week they were actually moving apartments within Taiwan, so it was a little bit harder for them to get the practice together there. This time they said it's going to be a little bit different. And they apparently prepared a couple of things for today's games. We might see a role swap or 2, and some of them are spicy to say the least. So let's find out how they're going to run this today. When it comes to the draft, as we can see, we have again the front line being banned out, Nubarak, Garrosh taken out there, Maiev and Raxa. Raxa, of course, fantastic, not offlane. Early commitment to Ana and Genji. Interesting actually that Ana was not banned out. Normally one of the high priority bans for most of the teams here. We're having still the pick on Tyrande here as the first setup, so that already works for them quite nicely. In comes the Reyna pick. And there's still a Zeratul open too if you really want to go for it, but it currently feels like we might see that not at all, or maybe towards the end. Now we have Diablo, so already the setup around Tyrande, Diablo with a bit of combo potential here. But that would also open up a Zeratul pick towards the end, if not banned out by OFD, because you can set everything up, of course, with a Void Prison into the Apocalypse. So with that said, Zeratul gets banned out here. OFD is just looking at us like, let me think about that for a second. And yeah, they deny that combo and say like, yeah, it ain't happening here. In comes the ban on Jaina. There's still a Ming out, obviously, if you want to try and pick that. And yeah, after Poik already spoiled me a little bit, I want to see if they're actually committing to those role swaps in game number 2 or not. But we're going to go over that for sure, if it actually happens. So we have Sylvanas coming in, and we're also seeing Tyrael. Still waiting for the last pick here. Offlane not committed to by them yet. Gonna see that soon. But what's gonna be the damage output? And what is going to be that offlaner? For the offlane, Urel is still available if you want to play her here. We have Junkrat first of all taken for even additional damage. They played with Arthas a lot in the past, with 365 on the hero, but again, as I said, there could be a couple of role swaps, and it is Urel. Do you know a player that played Urel a lot on the offlane? Who could that be? But yeah, in comes OFD with the last pick before we're heading into game number 1 on Volskaya Foundry in our best of 2 here. And the last pick, it is going to be timing Imperius. Ladies and gentlemen, Volskaya Foundry, the Swedes going up against the Chinese team. Game number 1. It is time for the meatballs against the dumplings once again. And look at this. The Whoopstar on Urel on that offlane. And who's that on Diablo? It is Shrimpy. The Shrimp Master in a tank position and 365. He played the offlane and then he turned 365 degrees and walked away back to the support. And is now playing Tyrande for his team here. It is time to shine. The role swaps are in as Boluo is mixing things up, spicing it up in an attempt to finally get a few points for the standings in the Gold League. And we have Wooby back on the offlane. The Whoopstar back where he belongs. OFD, definitely one of the easier opponents. Let's be honest about it. Let's be absolutely blunt here. If Boluo doesn't get the wins today against OFD, they can pretty much pack their bags and go back home. Might sound harsh, but that would pretty much be the reality. Boluo, they have to deliver today. They need to get points. OFD has so far not had a good not really a good group stage at all. Boluo had a worse one, but again, they said, well, we needed to move, we had not enough time to practice. This week is going to be different, and if it isn't different, then it's going to be in trouble. But yeah, game number 1, let's have a look at that, and let's see how things play out for them now. Unfurling Shadows for Sylvana on the level 1 again, as we have Schwimpy in that Diablo role all the way up at the front. Honestly curious to see how he is going to perform. I asked Poik a little bit about it, and he said, like, it's actually working out quite nicely. Better than expected. Schwimpy not really known for tank plays, but let's see how this is going to work out for them right now. So Boluo is still meaning pineapple, so they have the pineapple logo here. It's actually a bit surprising because originally they told me that they had a different logo in mind with an egg with a face holding a pineapple, and it's just like a bit of a meme thing. That's also the reason why they have egg as their clan tag here, or their team tag in the game itself. But apparently that didn't quite work out, so they're rocking it with the old logo that they used before, simply playing the pineapple there. Either way, we have now the 2 turrets taken, 1 on each side, and the play already here for the middle as they're starting to move in for this. In comes Whoopi, and a lot faster here than Genji. So Genji is a little bit late, and the Whoopstar just comes in with the perfect timing as usual. Pushes everybody out, says, guys, if you want to fight a 4 versus 5, hey, we are game. We're going to play that, and pushes them out. So with that said, we're now also having the fight or flight on the side of Jim Raynor. That's going to be an important one too, so no shenanigans around Behemoth armor. Or as we've already seen earlier, the sustaining rounds, which was a little bit weird. But at the same time, you look towards Genji, and the immediate question, obviously, is how much of an impact is he going to have in this game? Especially since for the third time, actually not quite sure, we're having the adjustment on level 4 again for him. The Dragon Claw has been taken here, so no commitment to a full Swift Strike build and no Shuriken Mastery. Instead, a Dragon Claw for him. I'm going to keep an eye on that if you can actually get the value out of this later on. But the pressure is definitely on Boluo, I feel. For OFD, they made it into the final 8 teams, and obviously there are no former pro players on this team, so they are in a situation where they are the underdog nearly in every series that they engage into. So now, first of all, we're having again Schwimpy already on the point here. The rest of the team is actually pushing the top side. OFD is trying to get some value here with Sylvanas empowering the push with that camp. So they're not going for that first protector just yet. 365 is coming in from the side, trying to help out. And everybody else is starting to jump down to the bottom now too. But Schwimpy is still holding that position for a bit longer. 45% is a good start for them. Playing it slow around it. They have the item advantage. They can use that later. Nurel and Genji both not there yet as they're still holding the bot lane. And Schwimpy actually has to drop his item. They're going for that. Sleeping Dart from Ana has already hit home, but talking about hitting home, the Whoopstar jumps in again and they nearly get the kill against Sylvanas as C moves away, but Tyrael is able to move out. Schwimpy actually diving in a little bit deep and might fall here if he doesn't pay attention. Is saved for now by Raynor. On the kill against Genji. Genji dying. Nice lead, especially with the level 7 talent obviously ready for Boluo in that little skirmish. They had the advantage and they are able to get the kill. And with first blood in play, Boluo is taking the advantage. Not only that, they're also getting the protector now. Time to shine, time to drop that mid lane, time to move to the top, time to prepare lane number 2. And they're absolutely wasting no time whatsoever. Getting the gate in the middle, screw that. Let's go for the top, let's prep objective number 2, let's drop that fountain, and let's make sure that we have a chance of maybe even getting the fort itself. And Boluo is on point. Whoopi on Nurel, still rotating between the lanes on his way from the middle to the bottom and then straight up to the top again, trying to empower that push even more. And they're trying to already go for the kills. And okay, Tyrael going a little bit deep here. A little bit too deep if you ask me. And he is getting taken down for his efforts. Still the escape of Sylvanas, but Genji is also in trouble and might fall again. And indeed he does. Kills against Genji, kills also against Tyrael. That's 3 kills against 0. That's an entire level lead and a fort eliminated all the way up at the top. Boluo with a definite head start into this game. And as we said before, this is a series that you need to win. Boluo, they can't fuck around here. They need to win this one. They need to take the 2 points home. Losing a single map here would be a massive, massive disappointment and really not bode well for them in the future. OFD has so far been one of the weakest, if not the weakest team in the group stage. And if they don't get their wins here, then they would be in trouble. But they're already 0-4 in the group. Boluo, that is. They lost to SBT. They lost to KG. So they definitely need to take this serious. They can't just simply assume that their opponents are going to be pushovers and then get punished later on for it. But they have a great start. 4 kills against 0, 2 levels ahead, early level 10 abilities, taking down the objective, or sorry, the fort at the top. Now going straight in for the fort in the middle, which would actually increase their entire power output through a passive experience even more. And thanks to the heroic abilities that they still have, they can engage into that battle. So yeah, they're trying to get the fort and they're very likely to get it here. In comes the Riptire. The kill against Reina though. Genji gets that attack and they get the fort. Decent trade still. Genji gets a kill but they get the fort, so that's all that they need to do here. And now once again 4 kills against 1, still far ahead. But with all of the structures taken down, the position on the map is getting worse and worse for OFD. Which apparently means old friends. It's part of their logo, which we actually haven't really caught the last time. But we were trying to speculate what exactly that means. And we had a couple of interesting names for that. But either way, now it's the bot lane that they're all very focusing on a bit more too. The group stage is actually an interesting setup. I honestly have to admit that this double round roll system that is being played here is definitely an interesting one. Especially since it's centered around best of 2s instead of best of 3s. But it honestly makes sense if you are playing this many games and you have such a heavy focus onto the map score in the first place. So there's a lot that can still happen even if you lose a map or 2, but every single map matters in this setup. You can't just simply say, okay, we lost the map, or we can easily lose 1 and then we win 2 afterwards. You have to focus every single time that you enter the battlefield here. And so far Boluo had really tough times with that, but now they're looking a little bit stronger in this series. There is the Sylvanas factor to consider though. Boluo already had a few games where they were ahead, and then they got snowballed in the second half of the game. And they need to avoid this time. Especially with Sylvanas being a factor in the equation, you need to make sure that that is not going to become a problem later on. Also, talking about this a little bit, since we are already looking at those heroes here, Wooby in particular with his URL setup, pretty standard build for him, with one small variation. We actually see the Sacred Ground at this point over the Ardent Defender, which on URL is actually the main talent that we have seen in the past few, weeks and months. Now going on the next talent for Velen's Chosen here. It's again all about the top lane right now, where we have the next objective spawn, and URL is already on the point. The cooldown, obviously, of Ardent Defender also working out, of Sacred Ground working out quite nicely for them here. But that's definitely something that allows you to stay on that point for a lot longer. So if you get that position, that would be a great setup. Wailing Arrow, that didn't really do anything, only hit Poik. He's reliant on his auto attacks more so than anything else. So definitely a big cooldown burned by OFD, as they're still struggling for level 13. They're still trying to get that. And well, we're having at the top lane. Is OFD actually trying to fight into this without level 13 talents? I mean, they might be forced into it if they really want to try and battle that Protector. They're now in that weird and awkward spot where you have just... It's a loss-loss situation. If you fight for the Protector, you fight without a level 13 talent. If you don't fight for it, you give your opponent another chance to get even farther ahead, and that's what's happening here. So Boluo, with 14 against nearly 13 right now, walks with the Protector straight down to the bottom of the map. Again, you prep for the next objective. It's one of the things where you can definitely see that the European team distinguishes themselves a little bit more from the Chinese setup. It's one of the few strategical nuances that surprise me a lot when I watch the Chinese teams play on this map, because a lot of them just don't make these rotations. They don't prep for the next objective. They are simply trying to push and get some forts down, but they are not really thinking about the next objective when they win a Protector. And this is honestly a bit of a weird setup, and I think it's an inferior strategy to what Europe is currently doing when it comes to the map meta here. And from Boluo's perspective, the setup obviously is designed to now take down the fountain, so that the third objective is going to start with them having an advantage. And they're taking this down easily. So the Protector, if you think about it in those terms, didn't really accomplish a lot in terms of getting mass value. Part of that is because Gia is at the top lane with his Junkrat. But at the same time, they prep the objective for the next round. It's actually, to me, really interesting also to have now that role swap. Gia has been playing a lot on Tyrande for the team, but if you actually remember the games that Gia played with Team Sweden in the Nations Cup just 2 months ago, he was heavily on, and also with Team Cheese, by the way, just saying. So when they were still playing for the Division S qualifier and Team Cheese, Gia was usually playing on the damage, and he's been playing Junkrat in particular a lot. And this is exactly what we're seeing here again. So Gia is back to his normal heroes, and I honestly think that a lot of the Chinese don't know his hero pool here. So it's going to make it very difficult for them to address that in the draft itself. Good kill again against Imperius, and that obviously gives us now also the level 16 advantage for the team, as they are starting to move down to the bottom, and they're taking down another fort. Massive lead in the game right now. I mean, honestly, insane lead at this point for Boluo. 16 talents, 2 level ahead, all the forts eliminated, perfect position to prepare for objective number 3. This is absolutely fantastic right now for them. So with this, they're having now a perfect spot on the map. I mean, just look at the minimap. Fountains are still ready on every single lane for Boluo. They have the forts there, so they have the sustain, they have a short distance to safety if they ever need to retreat. And the item advantage that they currently hold is pretty significant too. Double healing beacon, plus already 1 turret on the side of 365. Oh boy, do they have an advantage. Even if there's going to be a fight on even talents around the 3rd objective, that item advantage is going to give them a massive lead, and on top of that, obviously, they have taken down the opponent's fountain at the bottom of the map, so there's no retreat option for OFD either. With that said, they're already going for more. They still have the talent advantage, and they're saying, hey, we have all the heroics up, we have the talent advantage here, let's push to the bottom, we have vision on Imperius in the middle, we have vision on Genji in the top, why wouldn't we break through the wall at the bot lane? And now they're starting a rotation towards the healing beacon again. They see it on the map. They're even looking to see if they can maybe go for Imperius here, but he moved out in time. The problem is, of course, still that that healing beacon is still up. And even the fight over the healing beacon on even talents would be an issue because of the massive advantage in items that Boluo holds. They could use those to win the fight here and get even farther ahead. And they're already poking. And Whoopi has the sacred ground again, and that's another great tool for him to use in these little circumstances. So starting to move straight in. Go straight for that healing beacon once more. Junkrat already trying to control it with a grenade, going for it, and the kill attempt. Oh, the sanctification on the ground, the item taken, and the apocalypse. Schwimpy, he goes down, but he also helps them to get the initial kill against Tyrael, and they're looking for more, obviously. That Hyperion nearly dropping Imperius himself. So, Sylvana's trying to get away here. Oh, moves out. All of them are so low. And Gia is getting the grenades in together with the auto attacks of Jimmy. So there's 1 kill against Sylvanas. They're trying to look for the second. This time against Genji. Anna actually gets the heals out. But nice! That was well done here. Getting the kill against Reyna was a big one. Sacred Ground again used. Yeah, the whoopster on Urel. That's no joke, my friend. No. He was already fantastic in the main tank role. Had a couple of games where he did maybe not excel as much, but others where he really just showed that he is still quite strong on that front line. But now they're getting the kills in. 7 against 3 at this point. A pretty scrappy battle overall, but a quite entertaining one at that. The first kill, Sanctification was just great. Sanctification was fantastic. Whoopi, of course, committing again to the sacred ground in that fight. And then the Apocalypse comes through, but Imperius still gets the kill. Falls afterwards. Definitely, I mean, overall, I would still say a big win for OFD, since a lot of items were used in this fight by Boluo. And of course, the kill count was in their favor, which also meant that they caught up in experience a little bit. The problem still is that at the bottom of the map, that Protector is very likely going to end up in the hands of Boluo. But OFD is now rotating in. And there's not everybody at the bot lane yet. We have still Urel at the top, but obviously Boluo has a lot of time. They're already at 90%. So up at the top, there currently is still the push out from Whoopi that gives some catapult pressure onto that front wall. And they're actually sticking around a little bit longer. They're waiting for another minion wave. Whoopi is saying, like, boys, give me a little bit more time. We can always commit to this down here. They might even get level 20, which would obviously be the ideal scenario. But now even Diablo is helping out with a push topside. And this is a push for keep. And look at this. TPs are already being used. Yep, they go Hearthstoning back here. And the top lane has to be defended. That's what Tyrael is going to do. Mid lane, similar picture. And now with level 20 being so incredibly close for Boluo, they're likely to be able to rely on the Storm Talents. But first of all, they're making the move down to the bottom. And yep, Yrel is there, looking for Ana. But Ana already moved away, which was highly important for them too. Level 20, any moment. There it is. Storm Talents. How do you play this now? Highly unlikely that OFD is even committing to that fight. Kind of have to though, right? Like, what else are they going to do? Here come the items. There's the nice connect with a good lunge against Poik. So Poik with the auto attacks. But there's the sacred ground again. 20s are in. And now the first turrets are already gone. Tyrael again with the sanctification in the backline. Apocalypse is negated partly from it. They get the kill against Reyna. Poik is down, so is Diablo. Oh my god, Yrel is dead too. Tyrande falls, and finally the kill against Tyrael, but Gia drops as well. OFD, they get the Protector. OMG OFD with the kills, and they wipe them. They absolutely wipe them. Top lane, the keep is taking damage, but OFD is now 20 versus 20, and they get the Protector. Level 20 advantage for Boluo, and the advantage in items. Just look at this fight here. At first, great control, but like, again, Diablo isn't there with them initially. Then comes the fight. So far, so good, but all of a sudden, in comes the sanctification. They're making the engage. There was just nothing they could do. They're trying to keep, well, Reyna alive, but Genji just murdered him. Genji murdered him, and they just take kill after kill with the resets here and the damage from Sylvanas too. And holy shit, they go for core. Boluo about to lose game 1, guys, against OFD. That is insane. They're going to try and defend here, but that core is down to 40%. They dominated the entire game, had a massive lead, and OFD just doesn't care, turns it around, and wins game 1. GG. Boluo down 0-1. Bit of an insane ending on game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Boluo walking all over OFD for most of the time in game number 1, and then towards the end, even with the levels 20 Storm Talent advantage, Boluo gets completely wiped off the map by OFD, and OFD says, well, all we need to do is win the last fight, get the Protector, and walk towards the core and take it down. So as it stands, we have OFD in the lead, and as I said before, this is a really, really bad spot for Boluo to be in right now. It's already bad enough. Honestly, this needed to be a 2-0 victory. It had to. Now, they lost one map, and since this is a best-of-2 setup, we have a double round robin in this group. This already means that you are in trouble. If Boluo takes at least the map, that's a bit of a silver lining on the horizon. But against one of the weakest teams in the standings, they needed to go for the full points, and so far it didn't look like it. So this is really, really tricky now for Boluo. They have to try and somehow come back into this. But even with this only being the 3rd match that they play in the double round robin, it's still very tough. Overall, they play 14 matches, obviously. Double round robin, 8 teams. But still, 3rd one played. But if you can't get the wins in against the easy opponents, the so-called easy opponents in the group, how good are your chances of taking down the top dogs here? They need to make it into the top 4 if they want to move out of the group, and at this point it's very questionable if they can do it, but let's at least find out if they can take this one. Dragonshire is the map as we are heading into our 2nd map. The bans again on Anubarak, Dehaka this time too. We have also Maiev and Tyrande banned out. The role swaps, it looked like they are working. Here comes the ban on Hammer, as we have already Rexa committed to for OFD, this time not banned, so OFD gets Rexa. Still a chance that Whoopi is going for Yrel again on that top lane, unless she gets banned out, but instead it's currently Thrall that they are prioritizing in the bans, so Yrel is likely. She's still quite powerful on that top lane. Genji picked again as well, and he was really the hero that had the most impact on the last fight on Volskaya Foundry at the 3rd Protector. His Dragon Blade play has taken down not only Poik on Reyna, but then shortly after that also fell. Ooh, actually took down Tyrande. And now we have Uther committed to. Uther, there's Yrel for Whoopi. That's kind of expected on Dragonshire. Alright, Uther definitely going to make the life of Genji a little bit harder. In comes Reyna, ETC, last pick right now. What are we going to get here? We still need... Are we gonna get a Greymane with Uther, Divine Shield? Is that gonna be a thing for them? Are they just playing around the stun, trying to control Genji in this setup? What's gonna be the choice? They already have their mage. They have Jaina. There's a lot of stuns available for them. And Alarak! Ladies and gentlemen, game 2 OFD against Boluo on Dragonshire. Game number 2. Time for the Swedes to bring it back. The adventures of the Swedes in China. They look good in the previous rounds of the tournaments, but now that we reached the final 8 teams in the double round robin system here in the final group, things are starting to become a lot more difficult for them. It's tricky, it's dicey, and they are having trouble. Poik on Alarak this time. And let's see if this is going to lead to success in game number 2. And to be fair, they dominated the entire game on Volskaya until the final, I would say, 2 fights. But even as they were heading into the final battle for the third protector, they had massive leads in the game. Not only through items, but also, more so importantly, on the Storm Talents. And it just didn't work out. Now Whoopi gets attacked here, and that's the kill right there. 5-man commitment, straight into the middle, and down goes Urel. Everybody going straight for the kill, and this is not a good start for Boluo. It's not a nightmare just yet, because, well, Urel falling in the early game, nobody else being on lane, just means you lose the experience, or the opponent gains the experience through the kill. There was nothing else. The death timers are low, so that's not a problem. But the aggression is definitely there. OFD all of a sudden has a lot of momentum going for them. The last game definitely gave them the confidence that they need here, and they are showing this right now. And Boluo, they are in a world of pain right now. It's honestly a question also about how is the motivation on the team at this point. Are they tilted? Is Shrimpy tilted here? How is that going to play out? The top lane is going to be difficult to say the least for Urel. Whoopi needs to be careful there. Rexa is fantastic on the lane, and on top of that we have Genji, who with quick rotations on maps like Dragonshire usually excels. This, on the other hand, could be a kill, and indeed it is! Nicely done. Good kill. Garrosh gets it with the help of Alarak here. So they are definitely repaying them in kind as they go for the Siege Giants. There's another potential kill. This time Jimmy is in trouble, but he's able to move out. So that was a decent one. So a kill for a kill, lead for the Swedes now, as they are heading in with nearly level 4 already, and they're stealing the opponent's camp away, which was important too. Whoopi actually holds on to the top, and that's a Dragonite. That's honestly a Dragonite, yep. Genji was trying to make a play around that, and Whoopi is shitting on Rexa at the top lane. What? Whoopi just got a solo kill against Rexa on Dragonshire. Okay, fair enough. That is pretty decent. There's also a good move here in the middle, waiting for the minions to come in, not taking too much damage, taking the first one down, and we are having them starting to move to the top. It honestly looks like the Swedes are a little bit tilted after the last game, and just, well, tilted in the sense that they are super angry. Whoopi is going a little bit too deep here, apparently expecting more heals to come out from Uther, but it looked like 365 was in cooldown there. So Whoopi goes down, kind of ruining the efforts from the last play, hoping to get the second kill against Genji, and that didn't quite turn out. So now we have still an entire level lead for the Swedes, but 2 kills against 2. It is still an entire level ahead, and that ain't too bad this early in the game. But yeah, this game is quite aggressive. And now we're having Gia in a world of pain. He's going to fall. Yeah. Gia goes down. Question is, Genji, does he get away? Yep, he does for now. Genji's game is going to be a little bit more difficult here now, simply because we're having Uther on the other side. So when he starts to engage into the team, there are a lot more stuns to welcome him and try and take him down. I'm still a little bit curious what the level 10 choice for 365 is going to be. Normally you would expect still the Divine Shield to be taken, but we have seen also Divine Storms in the past to deal with Genji players. If you dive in too deep and then you get welcomed by a quick stun plus the ult follow-up, you can be locked down very, very easily. So it's going to be interesting talking about the level 10 abilities. 2 kills against 3 right now. Still the level lead, or well, not quite a level, but at least a bit for Boluo. So they have the early stages here. I hope that our observer also shows that at some point how the stacks come together for Alarak on his level 4 in particular. That's going to be something to watch out for, and unfortunately we can't control that ourselves. Whoopi has a little bit more mobility now through the Divine Steed on level 7 with his Urel. And they're trying to get the kill against the bot lane, ETC, as they're going for the camp. Everybody else is starting to rotate in too, again with the stun against ETC, making the plays here. But there we go. They're about to take that camp. They already have the Siege Giants in the middle. If they can keep them alive a bit longer, they might be able to get some damage done there. But talking about damage, they also have to deal with the top lane. And that's where Wooby comes into play once again. Siege Giants are still there. Bruiser Cam is making his way in too. You could make the play for the fort here if you really wanted to. Instead, they're going to try and make the play for the Dragon Knight instead. And comes again the play from Genji. Top lane. That's where we're having... Actually, we're having Jaina move to the camp again. Still ahead here. They want to work for the early level 10 ability. And in comes the attempt to go for Rexxar. Gets the flip, gets the stun, Wooby with a jump, and that's another kill against Rexxar himself. That gives him, of course, the control over the top lane shrine, and in addition to that, also the opportunity to finally de-push that Bruiser camp that we just saw there. So Boluo again with the killer with the plays. Rexxar getting wrecked there. And where's 13 stacks already? It's not bad. 5 minutes in. The level 4 on Poik. It's not too shabby. Alarak with 13 stacks there is pretty decent actually. So let's see how much more he can get together here. If they have a bit more success down at the bottom of the map, they can definitely start stacking the damage even more on him. But yeah. Wooby now with the top lane again as Rexxar is back. Rexxar died 2 times here already, and there's the level 10 ability. So now we're talking. Counter-strike taken, and against the Sacred Ground for Wooby. Water Elemental also, and the Divine Shield for Uther. So he's going to get that, and then another attempt at the Dragon Knight. Keep in mind that Divine Shield can later on also be used to sneak the Dragon Knight in if there's only a battle in the mid lane and the attempt to interrupt channels. So that's another tool in the arsenal of Boluo as they're now heading into the middle. Here comes the Sacred Ground on the top lane as Wooby is ganked by 2. Simply sticks around there. Doesn't really move out of the area just yet and holds the position for the time being. As long as Wooby can actually like bind 2 heroes to himself, there is less resistant against the rest of the team and especially against the Dragon Knight. So he's definitely comfortable in a position to go up against Rexxar and Genji for that long. And that's one of the plays that they're making. 1 fort down in the middle, the one at the bot lane also now eliminated. And still no level 10 for OFD. So Boluo again, with a pretty hefty lead here. Level ahead, massive advantage when it comes to the structural position. Nice timing here for Wooby with the approach onto Rexxar, just as Misha threw the stun out. Beastal Wrath taken, and the Eye of Horrors now on OFD's side. So Eye of Horrors and Beastal Wrath, a bit more of a Misha focus that we're now seeing. There's the stun, there's the immediate approach. Once again, a quick punt against ETC, and he might actually be in trouble. ETC, yeah, Gia needs to be careful here. He's trying to control that for as much as he can. In comes the rest of the team. Ana in trouble too. There's the taunt, and there's the kill. Ana down, and they're trying to get more. The mosh pit on the other hand. The interrupts are ready, and they're trying to go for another kill against ETC. At the same time, Genji is also quite low, but we have the same happening for Uther. ETC is already dead. Uther Divine Shields himself. They're making the play for Rexxar. He's down, and that's the double. That's the triple, as we have Reyna fall. 12 against 10, nearly 11. OFD is currently getting murdered in the team fights. But Boluo, they have to remember what happened in game number 1. They have to remember what happened in the first game. They dominated for such a long time. And then the final fight decided the game and they lost. But right now, Boluo with better coordination. They know that it's already disappointing to lose a single map against OFD. And they need to at least ensure that they're winning the second. They're going in again, OFD about to fall, and I really hope that we're going to see again how many stacks Poik has, because he, 7 minutes in, is already doing a significant amount of damage. Hit decent stacks going 5 minutes into the game, but now, looking at 7, let's see how much damage Poik can actually get out here. And Wooby is still playing the top lane against Rexxar really, really well. Dealing with Misha quite nicely, having the contenance there. Not panicking at any moment. A little bit aggressive maybe earlier when he then died to the towers as he was trying to go for the double kill against Genji. But obviously also expecting more heals to come out of Uther that just weren't ready yet. So again, 7 kills against 3, 14 nearly. 19 stacks for Poik right now. A bit slower now with the stack process as we don't have as many fights any longer. Also, Shrimpy isn't done on Garrosh with a quest on level 1 yet either. Neither is ETC, who went into the prog rock. So this time will be top lane, pretty much alone, since the 5-man at the bot lane has to deal with the camps. And talking camps, I mean, another bruiser camp gets taken too, and Whoopi has now the control over the top shrine. They have control over the bottom, but here's the invade. Without the level 13 talents, and can they get the kill against ETC? He has the mosh pit back up, so they need to be a bit careful with that. But the interrupts are there. There's the combo, there's the silence, there's the kill. Another kill secured. In the mid lane, Urel already dealing with Rexa as she's trying to threaten the Dragon Knight. And they are just doing really well here. Camp at the bot lane, and that pressure could maybe lead to another kill. They're going for Ana, and they get that kill too. 9 kills against 3. Urel now retreating to grab the Dragon Knight as the pressure towards the bot lane is already threatening a keep. And this is going to be DK number 3 now, I think, for Boluo. As they're moving in aggressively down to the bottom of the map. 15 against 12. Still no level 13 talents for OFD. They still don't have the talent. And now they're losing Misha. Misha is down. And as soon as ETC slides in, everybody is just simply moving away. Everybody is splitting. Everybody is saying, like, guys, mosh pit. Keep the mosh pit in mind. We can't get moshed here. No repetition of game number 1. This time we have a massive lead. Make sure that we're not screwing up again. Don't get too cocky. Don't get arrogant. Just, like, play it safe. Play it as sure as you can. And they're going on for the bottom keep, and they're trying to get this, but they're already moving out. They don't want to go too deep for this. 16 is close. They don't have it yet, but 16 is close. Genji comes in again, is looking for an opportunity here, doesn't find it yet. They're still sticking around though. They have the extra talent now again. That's the numbing blast on Jaina. Also gives Alarak, of course, even more damage output here. Benediction for Uther, huge talent for him. ETC comes in again, they're making the plays. Whoopi comes in, goes in deep, the taunt, the hit, and the kill against Genji. Genji down, Mosh Pit is still up, but the damage is mostly gone. Only Reyna back to business here. The stuns keep coming from Misha, but that's going to be the end of that keep. Keep at the bot lane, taken down, 3-level lead, ahead by 8 kills. And now how they're going to do it? Are they going to try and push harder? No, they're retreating for now. They're saying, guys, play it safe. Massive lead for now. Bot lane opened up. Wait for another Dragon Knight. Play it safe. Don't YOLO into that core. The underdog advantage is immense if you take heroes down. 31 stacks now for Alarak. But the problem is, even with 3 levels behind, if OFD at some point, let's say for example at a failed core attempt by Boluo, gets a triple, quad or 5-man kill, then all of a sudden they would be back in experience. And that's something they're well aware of. Poik with more hits. Moves away outside of the range of Misha. Not risking anything here anymore. But good stacks on Poik. Again, we're 11 minutes in, and after OFD fell behind, they didn't give too many fights over to Boluo. But Poik just keeps stacking on Alarak, and his damage output is going to get really nasty if this takes a little bit longer. So once again, what do we have there? Currently looking at 16 that OFD is trying to get. Camps obviously on the map, heavily under the control of Boluo now. They can invade if they want to, and they have their own camp up at the top lane still, which you can get now too. Well, and there we have the top lane commitment. ETC is looking for that mosh pit that saves his team the game. Might be a little bit too far out even. Shrimpy playing the safe. This is the weird, that's weird limbo where you have to play it safe, but you can't play it too safe. They're trying to go for ETC, and they get the setup again. Nicely done. 12 kills against 3. More stacks for Alarak as he goes in for the kill against Misha. And they're making the play for Rexa now too, diving in against the last remaining fort on the side of OFD. Rexa down, ETC down, heavy engage into the camp. They're immediately going to take this one. And Boluo is just murdering this game at this point. Same as they did on the last map, and then it went all south. They're trying it again, though. There's the rotation. They're making the play for Genji. Combo is there. Silence came out, but nice play from Ana as she gets the sleep dart in against Garrosh as he's trying to make the play here. Nicely done. Once again, top lane already taking down. There's another combo against Genji. Bot lane, the fort is taken down. X-Strike comes in. And the kill against Genji. Only a matter of time. There he goes down. And that's 14 kills against 3. And a Dragon Knight at the bot lane. They're going to end now. They're going to try and end. The NG is down. 5 versus 4. Dragon Knight in play too. 13. Their first map win in this tournament, in the final group stage, in the final 8-team group. Boluo, are they going to finally secure it? They lost game number 1 after being massively ahead. Now they're trying to go in again. Mosh pit attempt here by ETC maybe. There's the taunt, and there's the kill once more. And Poik with damage after damage, getting massive stacks on the level 4 talent right now. The quick hit straight to Anna's face, and that eliminates her from the map. The kill against Raxa, and this is Boluo going for the first map win for their Swedish team in the Gold League tournament in the final round of 8 here. They obliterate everything. They obliterate the core. Boluo with a 1-1 in the best of 2 as they take Dragonshire and win the map against OFD.